Hello Year 3, I hope you've had a wonderful weekend and I hope you're ready for a new working week. So today, first thing we're going to do is we're going to, as always, read back what we've written so far. Now, this first paragraph that I gave you shouldn't have any mistakes in it, including capital M for man and capital M for moon, because man in the moon is his name, and funny little spellings and things like that. So that's the first thing you're going to check today once we finish the video. Or you could pause now and you could do that. The next thing we're going to do today is have a look at our first paragraph, the independent paragraph that we wrote. And we're going to look at it and decide if we like it and then make some improvements. So I've looked at mine. It's okay, but I've decided it could be a lot better and I've rewritten it. So this is my new paragraph that I have written, which I can have here. There we go. And we're going to start off today by just clarifying why I've changed it, what I've done to change it, and how I've made my work better. So then hopefully you can have a look at yours and you can think, oh, can I make this a bit better? Or is it fine the way it is? Because I've really enjoyed reading the work that you've sent back to me, but we can always improve. So we're going to compare sentence by sentence and just see how they differ. I have in this new first independent paragraph, I've still only written 3 sentences. It just looks a little bit longer. Okay. So my first sentence in my original first paragraph, Credence was a cloud creature. Now, on my plan, I decided what his surname was and I didn't even use it. So I'm going to include that here. So Credence Clearwater, was a cloud creature and lived among the clouds. I looked back at my plan and I just thought, I haven't made that clear. I knew in my plan I wanted to include that he lived in the clouds, but I didn't include that in that first paragraph at all. I said he was drifting through the clouds, but I didn't say that's where he lived. So I thought that's an important piece of information that I need to add in, because as you know, in our first paragraph, in our first independent paragraph, we wanted to include what the setting was, and the setting for my character is in the skies, is in the clouds. So let's look at the next sentence. Through the drifting clouds, Credence could oh, it should be oh, I've missed a word. There's my first typo. This is why we edit. Could be seen manipulating the world around him. Now I read that and I still really like the word manipulating, but it can seem quite negative. So I've had a look at that sentence again and I've clarified what he is manipulating. So it is the world around him, but I've said drifting through the sky, so we've still got that fronted adverbial. He would manipulate the world around him by shaping clouds. So that softens that word manipulate and makes it much less negative by the fact that I've said he's shaping clouds. It's not like he's turning them into causing them to rain fire on the world or anything like that. It is just that he's turning them into elephants and things. And the last sentence, he brought kindness to everyone around him. His kind nature to the creatures he met always made him loved. So I've still included that word kind, which is a word I wanted to include, but I really wanted to make it clear of what part of him made him kind, and it was his kind nature to other creatures that made him loved. So I'm getting rid of this paragraph here. Gone. And I am going to now I've edited, I'm happier. I'm still not 100%, but I am happier with that paragraph now. Some of the words seem a little repetitive, but we'll look at that as we go through our editing process as we go on with writing. So now, let's have a look at our third paragraph and it's our second independent paragraph, isn't it? Because I gave you the first one. I need to look at my plan. Now, I remember on my plan that I started with a lovely fronted adverbial on a winter's night, so that's telling me when it happened. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to shrink this text down a little bit so we can squeeze it all on the page. Squeeze that one in a bit more. There we go. Okay, so then I can get my third paragraph in. So I'll leave a little gap there. So I've read each paragraph independently. Before I start writing, I am just going to read them all both together before I start writing. Of course, you know the guardians of childhood. You've known them since before you can remember, and you'll know them till your memories are like twilight. The very first guardian was the man in the moon, and it was he who found the others. Credence Clearwater was a cloud creature and lived among the clouds. Drifting through the skies, he would manipulate the world around him by shaping the clouds. His kind nature to creatures he met always made him loved. So I haven't given all the details about my character, I've just introduced them. So my third paragraph, the one where I'm giving more details about my character, I'm going to start. I'm going to look at my plan, and I started with that lovely fronted adverbial on a winter's night. So I've got to start with that. On a, not a whiter's, a winter's, possessive S, because it belongs to the night. On a winter's night, Credence. So again, I'm looking back at my plan and deciding what ideas did I want to get across. Well, I want to explain what he does, don't I? To get that over to the reader. Credence would fill the skies with thick, cold clouds. Oh, you probably can't see that now. I have typed clouds. Let's squeeze it in so you can see it. There you go. So I've described those clouds. I've made them a bit more interesting by adding some adjectives. As he would do this. So again, starting my sentence in a different way. I'm not starting the sentence with then, because we all know that gets boring and repetitive. So we're using those fronted adverbials, we're using those subordinate clauses to make our work more interesting. Putting them at the start, using different ways to start your sentences engages your reader more and they want to read on. So I need to say what he does. So as he would do this, he sometimes noticed another flying through the skies. I remember from my plan now. Yes, of course. I'm looking at my plan going, oh, yes, there we go. I've written another, but I've not written the rest of the sentence. There it is. There he is. He sometimes noticed another flying through the skies. I'm making sure it's all in the past tense as well. That's really important. So I've used my ed here. So as he would, again, past tense, as he would do this, he sometimes noticed another flying through the skies. Because I wanted to include Jack Frost. I wanted to introduce my character into this world of Guardians by using Jack Frost. Because I really enjoyed that character. This was Jack Frost. Full stop. Nice short sentence, makes sense. Because, so it starts with a fronted adverbial, because their preferred weather was cold, because that's just an idea I had about my character, and we know Jack Frost likes the cold. They always found plenty to talk about. They always found plenty to talk about. Full stop. So looking back at my plan, I've now got that subordinate clause. Because their preferred weather was cold, they always found plenty to talk about. So the subordinate clause there is because their preferred weather was cold. Doesn't make sense on its own. And then I've got another little fronted adverbial over years, because I want to explain that they became friends. Over years, their friendship blossomed. Oh, I've not spelled that right. Blossomed. Fat fingers as usual. Over the years, their friendship blossomed. Again, that's not a long sentence. I could have written it, their friendship blossomed, but I want to explain to the reader how long it took. So over years, their friendship blossomed. Da, da, da. Do you remember on my plan that black square? But then darkness overcame the land. So then I will have my next paragraph. So I'm going to read it back all so it's out loud to myself. I'll read it back out loud to you and we'll see if it works. See if I've missed any words out. Of course you know the guardians of childhood. You've known them since before you can remember, and you'll know them till your memories are like twilight. The very first guardian was the man in the moon, and it was he who found the others. Credence Clearwater was a cloud creature who lived among the clouds. Drifting through skies, he would manipulate the world around him by shaping clouds. His kind nature to the creatures he met always made him loved. On a winter's night, Credence would fill the skies with thick, cold clouds. As he would do this, he sometimes noticed another flying through the skies. This was Jack Frost. Because their preferred weather was cold, they always found plenty to talk about. Over years, their friendship blossomed, but then darkness overcame the land. And in our next session, we will finish writing our next 2 paragraphs. Good luck. Send me an email if you get stuck, please, and I will give you a hand. Bye.